Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi. Welcome back to Sincerely Self. I'm so excited. Today we are joined by a life coach. This is Annie Haviland. So, Annie, just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, about me. I am a life coach, a wife, a mother, a disciple of Christ. We have six children ranging from 19 to 6 years old, four boys, two girls, and that is the main reason I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to be the best that I can be for them and to help their future go. We raise cattle. I'm a cowgirl. I grew up with horses and roping, and my family continues to do that. So that's really fun for us. And I love ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream's the best. I love that.
Oh
So, you have been a life coach. How long have you been a life coach for?
gosh, okay. I always get confused by the dates with COVID and everything like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've been certified and master certified. I've been master certified for a year. Um, so probably going on 3 years. I think September is when I was fully certified through the life coach school with Brooke Castillo.
That's so exciting. So I
Yeah.
feel like anyone that I really talk to who is in some sort of field that's helping other people, there's always some sort of thing that kind of led them to that path. So for you, what was that thing that kind of led you to life coaching?
Absolutely. Depression. That's the short answer, is what led me.
Okay.
So I have, like I said, six kids after my third baby, which I had my first three within 3.5 years. They were just like super close together. Some crazy life events that also happened, several different things. I just really started struggling with postpartum. I didn't know what that was. He's 16 now, so this was 16 years ago. That seems like forever ago, but I didn't know what it was. So I suffered in silent, like just privately for a really long time before I got help. Anyways, so the story goes, I got some help, but I still wasn't like fully healed, I would say, or fully recovered, or really knew great tools to keep helping me, in hard times, and continued to have some more kids, three more kids. After my fifth, I could really see like signs coming back of postpartum and had learned a lot more. And so I was really proactive, jumped into therapy like right away. I was like, okay, I need to do something different. Loved that. That was super helpful. After my last baby, we had moved a big move out of state where we are now, but I had her here and just wasn't thriving. I was surviving. I
Mhm.
wasn't not getting out of bed. I hadn't been as bad as I had been before, but I just kind of was like almost like if okay, I guess this is going to be my life. This is going to be something I struggle with the rest of my life, kind of my lot, right? This is what God's
We'll
given.
just settle with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got okay, but I did anyways through different connections had got a hold of a podcast and started listening, and she had become a life coach. I knew her through someone else, so I had seen this transformation in her and was like, okay, maybe I should try this. Maybe this could help, and
Mhm.
was willing to give it a go, and was like last ditch, okay, if I'll do this, if this doesn't work, I guess this is my lot and I'll just like deal with it. And it changed everything. So she was a life coach. I did her package, just absolutely changed everything. And so of course I fell in love with it. And the more I worked with her and applied the tools, I was like, I have six kids, like six human beings to like teach this information. I want to get certified so I can learn even more and help them. So that was kind
Mhm.
of like my main goal, was to just like learn more, keep getting stronger, keep healing, and help and pass it on to my kids. And
Yeah.
information I want everyone to know because it's so helpful. So I got certified, and then, little by little helping clients, and just love it with my whole heart.
Yeah. I
But
definitely think a lot of the time when you're on that journey, it does take like kind of hitting almost a rock bottom, and then you discover the tools that helped you out of it. And it's like that's the only thing you want to want to tell people. I totally understand what you mean. It's like the most valuable information once you've been able to use it.
Yeah, you can't help not share it because you're like, oh, wait, but you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be in so much pain, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, like it
yeah,
doesn't have to be that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how have you noticed, like in your family dynamic, in your family life, that the tools that you've learned through life coaching, how has that been implemented?
Ooh, that is a great question, Lexi. I think as a mom, the biggest shift that two things that come to my mind right away. So the biggest shift I would say I've had is being able to offer myself grace.
Hmm.
I mean, right? No one's perfect. There's not a perfect mother. We all have our own ideas. And when we don't meet that, we just feel like we're failing in all of the ways. And I have just being able to boss my brain. That's my little catch slogan, right? That I teach a lot is to boss your brain. I don't accept everything my brain offers me, like the failures that I would have been like, oh my gosh, what am I even doing? Like, I'm the worst, right? These kids, like, I don't do that anymore. Like, I'm able to offer myself grace, which just helps everybody.
Hmm.
Because when you're judging yourself and you're shooting on yourself and you're all these things to yourself, you're doing that. You're not showing up the way you want. So I
Hmm.
kind of rebound a little. Like, I definitely make mistakes. I definitely notice them. I definitely have judgment for myself, but I'm able to like rebound quicker and not just like, get in this cycle that my clients talk about a lot. Right. The other thing is I'm able to offer my children that grace too. Like, they're having their own human experience. They're making their own choices. And I get to separate that from it doesn't mean anything about me. And how do I support them and help them to
Hmm.
have their experiences that they're supposed to have and not get in the way of it, right? Like trying to control it or fix it or I just like get to let them be human and love them through it.
Yeah. And them
So
getting to hear these tools so young, I can only imagine the way that's gonna benefit them through like especially like young adulthood. And while they're like navigating being an adult, they're already gonna have these tools that so many people don't even know about yet.
I hope so.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's
Good,
still
that's the plan.
before my eyes. So I don't know, have guarantees or anything, but I hope so. I
Yeah.
definitely know it's especially because I've had three teenagers that it like all at once, and they're all different. And it's beautiful when I can not like let them be who they are and not think they should be different than they are. Because
Yeah.
nobody wants that. Nobody wants someone to be like, you should be this way, you should be that way. Why are you doing this? And, when I work with my clients that have teenagers, like that's where they're coming from, which I totally get. But I'm just grateful that now I know to be like, they shouldn't be different than they are.
Yeah. Like they're exactly how they're supposed to be.
Yeah. And they're learning and, it's going to work out. So.
Yeah. So while you were talking about like your family dynamic and how you've been able to, switch some of these mindset cycles we get stuck in that your clients talk to you about, what are some of those cycles that you see most common?
Ooh, that's a good question too. So I would say the most common cycle that I see is we just make ourselves wrong.
Hmm.
It's what we're thinking, maybe it's where our life is at, maybe it's how we feel, the choices that we make, and we just make ourselves wrong. I shouldn't feel this way. I should be different. I should be better. I should be farther along, right? Like my life's a mess or this marriage isn't what it was supposed to be or whatever. We just make ourselves wrong. And how I describe that, which always resonates with people, is life is hard and it's painful. Like there's no avoiding pain, no matter what. We're going to have it. We're going to have hurt and suffering and pain. But what happens is we take that pain. This is a great example. I think anyone can relate to this, especially moms. But this particular client loves her boys, right? She has a couple boys, loves them. I know this. I've been working with her a long time. She's an incredible mother. But so she loves her boys, and then they have homework.
Hmm.
And she doesn't love, right? We discovered like this homework time, like it stresses her out, all of the things. So instead of just being like, yeah, I'm a mom who loves my kids and I don't really love homework time, like that's okay. She just makes herself wrong. Like, that's a bad mom. I shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be stressed out. I shouldn't be frustrated. And I'm like, why? Right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of moms in the world who probably don't look forward to homework time, and it doesn't mean anything about you. It means you're human. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
you don't love your kids. It doesn't mean you're not a great mom. It doesn't mean that you can't show up the way you want at homework time. But when we take like, oh, I don't like this, and it already creates a little bit of angst in us, anxiousness or, frustration, whatever she might be feeling. And then we pile on guilt and shame and pile on judgment and anger and then the frustration and then whatever happens because we're not showing up the way we want and we're doing it all wrong and we're failing. It's just like we just keep compounding the pain, like just piling instead of just taking all that away. And it's okay. I don't love homework time, but I sure love my boys.
Yeah, like, I know exactly what you mean. I think so many times all of us have circumstances where if it were somebody else, like our brother, our kid, or our friend, and they were in that situation, we'd be like, "You're human," pretty much talking about it the way that you were talking about it. But as soon as it's ourself in that situation, we just immediately assume we're wrong, the negative self-talk starts, and we just don't give ourselves enough grace.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we stripped all that away and we're like, can you be a mom who loves your kids and also doesn't really love homework time? Like,
Like, both can both be true.
yeah, is that an option? Sure. So it's okay. You don't like it. Now let's be intentional. Let's boss our brain. How do you want to show up at homework time? You don't love how you've been doing it. That's okay. We can adjust, we can change. So now let's be like intentional so that you can be proud of who you are, even when you don't like homework time.
Mhm. I love
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because how I describe that as well is like we can't read the label from inside the bottle. And when
Mhm.
we're in our own story, when we're in our own bottle, like we don't see what you were just talking about, right? But it's easy to see for some, it's easier to see for someone else. But for us, it's just like the chemical reactions in our body, the feelings are so true that it's really hard for us to like get out of the bottle without that other view, right?
Yeah. I love the bottle kinda metaphor because it is so true. It really puts into perspective, like, as soon as you're in the place where you're experiencing it, it's so much less likely that you're going to kinda see it from the outside point of view.
Yeah. And that's why coaching is so valuable. That's what changed everything for me because my brain would not offer me anything else except
Mhm.
it had already been offering me and what was cycling through. It's all I could see. It's all I knew. And
Mhm.
as soon as I could have my coach be like, huh, was like, oh my gosh, I guess you, yeah, I guess you're, and it seems so simple, but you're like, I mean, this struggle for me lasted a decade, right?
Yeah.
It was no joke, like this up and down, really, really down. And
Mhm.
until this work, like, I just couldn't see it.
Yeah. This kinda makes me think about how in society, I feel like it's definitely more normalized now, but a lot of the time people think weird about going to, like, therapy or going to a life coach. They feel like it's, like, making them appear weak almost in the sense for, like, going and needing help. What is some advice you would give to somebody who kinda has that view on going and getting help from someone?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I remember the first time I went and got some medication because I was like, I don't know what else to do. I had had my blood tested like 3 or 4 different times because I was just like, something isn't right. And they
Mhm.
were like, it's normal. You're good. You're just tired. You have little kids. Like you've had a lot in 3.5 years, all these things. I would say be your own advocate, right? Because I suffered a long time because those stories were also told to me. Like, oh, well, you're just of course, like that's normal. Like you have 3 kids in 3.5 years, like you're just tired. And I'm like, I knew in my heart, like it wasn't, but I didn't
Yeah.
even know really what was. And I would say it looked different. It wasn't right after the baby, like my son was born. It hit more around 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. And like I said, there was just like this perfect storm of life events that I had kind of been struggling, maybe baby blues, didn't know it. And then this perfect storm just like put me over the edge.
Mhm.
So now being on the other side of it, I'm like, why did I wait so long? Give me anything in the world, like to not, you don't have to suffer. So I would just say, if who cares, right? It's your life. Nobody knows that inner turmoil, that suffering that you're experiencing it. How long are you willing to sit there before you get help? Like, it's your life, whatever it takes. Like, my clients, sometimes we get introduced to tools. And I've had this before and it's happened to me, like where they have a tool, they've applied it for a week or two, and then they come back, we're talking about it, and they feel shame about having to have a tool, or they feel
Mhm.
weak, like you said, because they have this tool. And I'm like, no, give me all the tools in my tool belt.
Yeah.
If your child needed help, if your mom or your sister or spouse or whoever needed the help, the medicine, the whatever it might be, you'd be like, heck yes, I will move heaven and earth to get you the tools that you need.
Mhm.
So I'm sure we've all heard that analogy too, right? If you had a broken bone, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, they have a cast, how weak,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
Mhm.
no, no one ever thinks that ever. You're not like
Yeah.
that person weak for having this cast or whatever it might be. So that's a tool. A cast is a tool that they use to help you heal. Like, same thing, coaching, therapy, medicine, whatever it might be.
Like, accept it, yeah. I feel like it definitely like, when you were telling your story about that, it made me think about how in society it's more normalized to feel emotionally distressed. Like, "Oh, that's okay, like, you're supposed to feel that way," you know? Instead of going to get help when you feel that way. Like, it's not normalized to do that, so I love that you're like, it's just a tool. Why would you not want as many tools as you can to help you feel better?
Sure. Yeah. Look at
So
your how many apps are on there, right? Those are apps that you use every day for budgeting or whatever. That's a tool. Right?
yeah.
Use it. Don't just have it in front of you and like, no, I didn't know there was help.
Mhm.
There was that kind of help. And
Yeah.
so I do think we get things at the right time. I do think that we're pre offered opportunities or doors to open, and it is up to us to open. And it's hard. Like, whenever
Mhm.
schedules a consult with me, I am like, you're so brave. That took so much courage to push that button and schedule an appointment. Like,
Mhm.
all that. That is so brave.
It takes a lot of swallowing your pride almost in a way when you're going and being like, "Okay, I'm gonna look at all the good parts of me and also the parts that are not that good, and I need to learn to accept both." It is very brave to be willing to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That one step alone, whether they sign up or not, I'm just like, you have what it takes to get where you want to be.
Mhm. So, what are some of the most common, like, pain points that you see in the clients that are coming to you?
Sure. One is what we talked about is like making ourselves wrong, right?
Mhm.
About where we are, and also just about how what we're experiencing
Mhm.
sometimes ourselves wrong. And also, I would say a huge thing I work with my clients about is processing emotions, like our feelings, because we really make ourselves wrong for that, or we feel something that's uncomfortable that we don't want to, and then we just, especially this day and age, there's so much at our fingertips that we just buffer it, resist it, avoid it with so many things that
Mhm.
it's like pushing the beach ball in the under the water, that you can do that for a moment, but then it's just going to explode. because they've learned how to feel these uncomfortable things and be like, I can do this. So they start showing up like in different ways, like going and doing things they've never done or using their voice in ways they've never done. And that is amazing. And it's all from like learning how to feel your feelings. So that's a huge one. And we've just never been taught how to do that.
Mhm.
Most of us, right? We've just never been taught, like, oh, when you're sad or when you are angry at work or, right, when you're just disappointed or discouraged, like, it's okay. And what can you do?
Mhm.
I would say those two things are huge. And then just believing the thoughts that you, like you said, that cycle that goes, your brain offers you these thoughts and they just become so true to us that they learning how to interrupt those are probably the top three things I would say.
I love that you used the beach ball analogy because it's so true. All of these feelings that we're feeling, if we don't let them out willingly, it's just going to happen in some way or another. So I love that you were kind of mentioning that story because we're not taught really what to do with all those feelings. If anything, it's more normalized to just bottle them up and keep them to yourself. So I love that you're kind of creating a space with people where you're like, hey, it's okay that you feel this way, but you need to express it in a healthy way instead of bottling it all up.
Yeah, yeah. And really, like the things that have happened when it's like the best, I always start my sessions out with a win for the week. Like, hey, what was your win this week, mentally, emotionally? Like, anyway, right? They could just get to share any win. And it's so amazing when they come back with those emotional wins. Like, oh,
Mhm.
like I noticed I started feeling like so discouraged and disappointed. And they describe what they did and how they kind of processed it. And then it was like, they were so proud of themselves. And then what came after that is just like, I never thought this could be me. I never thought it would go away that quick, right? Because we just carry it on, like I said, and pile it and pile it and pile it. And all of a sudden you just like feel it. And then it goes away so much quicker most of the
Mhm.
time, right? Anyways, it's like I love those ones so much because you're just like, yes, you can handle anything, right? The confidence that comes from being like, oh my gosh,
Like it is gonna
it's
be
it's
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
I love that a common theme in kind of what you do with your clients is you're saying like the tools pretty much are already inside of you. Like when they're working with you, they're just kind of learning about them. They're discovering them in a way almost. It's like you already have these tools inside you. It's just you don't know how to use them yet.
Yes, absolutely, Lexi. I say all the time, I'm not a coach that you come to and I tell you what to do or tell you like this is the answer, this is your next step. Because I don't
Mhm.
believe I know better than you. Your life is so unique. No one has lived it, only you. And the answers are inside of you. It's just
Mhm.
my job as your coach to help you get your brain out of the way and find those answers because they are, like you said, they're already in there. We just got to boss our brain, right? Our brain is a beautiful because it keeps us alive and it keeps us safe, but it also causes a lot of drama for us.
Mhm.
Just get to decipher, like learn how to decipher what we want to keep, what we don't. We boss it, so we're intentional and it doesn't control our life, right? We just have so much power in that, so much confidence. And so, yes, I'm not that coach if you're looking for someone to tell you what to do or like, this is your next step. I'm like, oh, you know it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you do say boss your brain because I feel like life really is kind of this constant back and forth of trying to take control of the thoughts that you have and take control of kind of what you want to do and what you're kind of thinking instead of getting stuck in the negative self-talk and letting that run your brain. So I love that you're like, no, you're going to be the boss of your brain. You're going to control what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just imagine the confidence that comes when you do that little
Mhm.
by little, time over time. You're just like, yeah, I don't feel like it, or my emotions are this, and I still show up the way that I want.
Yeah.
Like, that is confidence, right? I,
Mhm.
thank
So
you.
Yes. So, Annie, the last question that I kind of have for you, and I love asking all of my guests this question, just for advice for people based on kind of the specific thing that they're doing. So, what is some advice you would give someone who is just starting kind of the self-development journey? They're just starting to accept, I can control my mind, I can kind of control what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. What advice would you give to them?
Mm, that's a great question. Okay, so I'm going to say two things if that's okay, but they align right on right with each other.
Hmm.
And it's also again something we've never been taught. I never knew this and it is what changed everything. Okay, so two things I want you to remember. Thoughts aren't facts,
Hmm.
right? Just because you think it doesn't mean you have to keep it or that it's true. Okay. The second thing is thoughts are optional. So they go right along hand in hand. So many times we think like what our brain offers us, it's the truth. It could feel really true because again, those chemical reactions are like happening and we have an actual feeling in our body which
Hmm.
that feel true. But when we know that thoughts are optional, we get to start questioning like, do I want to think that? Like, does that help me? How does that serve me? Oh, it doesn't. What else might be true? We just get to like poke around in there and then keep the ones that are true or that serve us, right? They don't even have to be true yet. We can step into them and start creating that truth. But those two things I would say thoughts aren't facts and thoughts are optional.
Yes, I love that. I think the biggest tool that people can have is the ability to know that they don't have to be ruled by their thoughts and that they can kind of choose which ones they want to keep and which ones they don't want to claim in a way. Yes, thank you, Annie, so much for coming on and sharing with us. I will have Annie's booking website and also her Instagram. Your Instagram, I love it. I love seeing it on my page every day. Your reels are amazing. So make sure to check out Annie's Instagram. It's just very authentic. Like I love that you keep it so real?
Thank you, Lexi. You're so sweet. I appreciate you having me on. Love what you're doing. You're brave. You're amazing. You're bossing your brain every day, getting things done.
Yeah. Yes, so I will have all that listed for Annie and I will see you guys next week.